Look at this, a full house.
This the War Report coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out SmackDowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space. Now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause you love him in London, Paris, and Tokyo, America, Canada, and Mexico. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the War Report After Dark. I wasn't actually going to start with Joe Hendry, but we'll just say that one's for Autumn.
It's for all the kids in that house, dude. They're into it.
Well, she just went on a whole rant that she's over him already.
Oh no!
That lasted a very long time.
Rosie hates Joe Hendry because I played him for 7 hours straight.
So welcome everybody to another edition. Speaking of Joe Hendry, he is officially on the WWE roster page.
That's crazy.
So you're going to be seeing a lot more of Joe Hendry. And I'm all for it. I love the guy. I think it's great.
It's wild. It's just weird to think about, like, because I remember watching him on, like, the indies because he was always across the pond there. So I'd have to watch, like, what did they call it? Whatever that YouTube channel was that they had they had a YouTube wrestling promotion for a while, and he was in there. He was in ICW. There was a couple ones, and he had a great indie run because he did a lot of parody songs of pop songs and like the Pokemon theme and stuff like that. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's fucking great.
If you want a real laugh, Justin is totally sick of hearing the song because Autumn and Alex play it constantly. At Kroger yesterday, the radio at Kroger played the song.
No.
That's amazing.
How he's worked. And he calls me, goes, I freaking quit. I said, what the hell are you talking about? And he puts the phone on speaker, and on this loudspeaker at the store, I'm hearing it. And he's like, there's people behind him that were literally clapping in an aisle he was working in.
That's the greatest thing ever.
He's like, I'm done
Joe.
with this freaking song. He's like, I can't even get away from it. He's like, this is why I go to work, to not hear this damn song. And here it is.
That is amazing.
Wow.
So, as usual, before we got started, our good friend over at YouTube, David Roska. Vince, go ahead, read this one.
Oh, what's up, guys? This Thursday will be 48 years ago to the day, this Thursday, when Nadia Comaneci became, I guess, the first Perfect 10 and hit her 7th back-to-back first Perfect 10. So she got 7, all the judges, on July 18th, 1976 in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It's on YouTube. Are you guys lighting fireworks? Are you having a barbecue? What are you doing to celebrate? Let's see. Oh, and Trish Stratus was indeed 7 months old, 48 years. Wow, 48 years, 7 months when she hit 7 back-to-back. Oh, he's like a number guy, like a numerology. 7 months old, 7 back-to-back 10s on July the 18th in 76. All right, I see the whole thing. I'm starting to see the vision, David. I'm starting to see it now.
That's our history lesson for this evening.
It's amazing.
Tara says hello, and she was wondering about that. I'm sure she's not referring to David Roska.
Oh, yeah, probably Joe Hendry on the WWE roster.
My brother Chris made me like Joe Hendry because he won't stop playing that fucking song. Yeah, it's absolutely great.
Wait, Patrick, I say something?
Sure.
On September 1st and October 27th, so in September 1st in Denver, Colorado, there's NXT No Mercy. And October 27th in Hershey, Pennsylvania, we got Halloween Havoc.
He knows the schedule better than we do.
He's like our Jack Tunney.
Yeah, I like that. He
SmackDown
can
on
make
He
the announcement.
analyzes it. He knows every date.
Where's
of-
SmackDown on Friday, Alex?
SmackDown on Friday is in Nevada.
Wow. I just believe him. I'm not even going to look it up. I'm just going to assume he's right. The thing about Joe Hendry, though, is that it's a catchy song. It's not even like his best song. He made one when he was wrestling Drew McIntyre, and he did I'm Drew instead of I'm Blue by Eiffel 65. He did one for Mr. Kennedy, but it was Mr. Anderson, and he did it to the Pokemon theme. But instead of Pokemon, he was going Anderson. But then at one point he goes, I'm gonna kick his balls, Anderson. Like he's the whole, and he does music videos. If you've never seen the music videos, he actually
I have
put
to watch that, Vince. Thank you.
the reason. Dude, I'll send the links through the group chat. The reason he got popular initially, in order to even get to TNA, to get to this point, to go to NXT and WWE, was because when he was on the Indies, he would make these parody songs. He'd sing them and record them and then do a music video. So before his matches, they'd dim the lights in the arena and they'd play the music video. And then he'd, after the music video played, he'd come out to the song. So yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. Tara, if you
Who's
haven't
the
seen
Macho
it,
Man? Who's the Macho Man dude that he did the Titanic one to?
Oh yeah.
Oh man. I forget, but because I'm trying to think of that one. There's another
There's
one that
one
was
where he goes, I want you to paint me like you paint your French girls. And he draws a pile of shit for the guy.
oh yes.
Freaking hilarious. I can't
there's
remember who the wrestler was, but I saw that on TikTok and I was dying. He did
There's
a whole
one-
Titanic, like near, far, you're never
Right,
gonna-
yeah.
It was hilarious.
Oh, all right, I'm gonna have to look for that. I like the one where it's like a soccer song that apparently they play at stadiums. Boom, boom, boom. Jack Jester's in my room, and the whole music video is he has a guy with the mask on of the guy he's facing, Jack Jester, and it's boom, boom, boom. Jack Jester's in my room, but it's just the guy like dancing in his bedroom, and he's like, Joe Hendry opens the door and sees Jack Jester dancing. He's like, ha, and he like closes the door. It's like
he did a
he's crazy.
Joe Hendry #5 to Lou Vega's Mambo #5.
All right. Yeah, we gotta have a Joe Hendry day one day and just kind of not play the full thing because we'll get copyright struck, but play clips of it and see.
Why do I feel like this is because it's the Triple H era? Because I can't imagine this character and this thing being something Vince would be into.
Well,
Only if you dance.
listen. The reality is, if Vince was still in charge, this whole crossover with TNA wouldn't be happening in the first place.
Well, that's true.
It's funny because a lot of the bad blood that promotions have with TNA, and this goes back to New Japan. New Japan hates working with TNA because when Dixie and Vince Russo and all those guys were around, they'd send over Tanahashi and Okada, and they dressed Okada, the world champion, up like Kato from the Green Hornet. That's just the shit they would do with them. So New Japan traditionally doesn't like working with TNA. TNA in the early days took so many shots at WWE, hired old WWE guys. They had the New Age Outlaws come in. Remember Levesque Hickenbottom Sunday at the Alamo. They wanted to they challenged him to a shoot fight at the Alamo. So yeah, there's so much bad blood with TNA that a lot of the older guys, especially Vince, wouldn't want to work with them. New Japan doesn't want to work with them, but it's actually a whole new company. Ever since they got bought by Anthem, it's a whole new company, a whole new philosophy. I'm glad it's working out for them because there's just been, we've been on the TNA death watch for 15 years now, and they just seem to keep making it. So more power to them, man. I'm happy that they're around because it's another place for people to work. It's another alternative to watch. It's not as big as it used to be. It's not as big as NXT. It's not as big as AEW, but it's an alternative, and I'm glad
they made a decent recovery from after what's his name was let go.
Scott D'Amore. And I still think
that was because he was doing great things for TNA, and then they let him go. I think Dreamer is doing a lot of this stuff now.
Yeah, well, Dreamer was doing a lot of it anyway, but he's definitely picked up a lot of the pieces since.
He didn't answer my email the week. I mean, I'm sure everybody on the Indies fucking emailed this guy. But the week that I heard he got hired, I sent him an email, and I sent him my demo reel, and he didn't answer. So if you're on social media, you can tag Tommy Dreamer and tell him that he needs to give me a call. I'll work for TNA.
But this cross promotion stuff is good. great for wrestling in general.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the more the better.
Yeah, and I hope they continue to do it because so far it's exciting again, and it's just fun to watch. But speaking of exciting, I want to shift over to SmackDown because once again we got to see what Jacob Fatu can do.
Man's incredible.
God damn.
That's
I
a
mean-
very good dude, man.
I texted Steve immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he's just fucking amazing. A
Yeah, dude.
split-legged
Really is.
moonsault and a best moonsault ever. You know, I mean, and spot fucking on the facial expressions, the running hip toss and hip thrust into the corner. I mean, dude, everything about him is just so fucking great. I am absolutely loving this new bloodline. I'm loving Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is the future.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is just absolutely phenomenal. I can't say enough about him.
Yeah, and if you're Solo Sikoa, are you suddenly worried about your spot on the? Not that you're gonna get fired, but like, are you worried that all of a sudden they go, "That's the guy"?
I would be.
Yeah.
I would
That's
be
the new
too.
tribal
Yeah.
chief.
Seriously, the real
That
tribal.
dude, the way he moves, holy shit.
I feel like he's the most gifted athlete that the Samoans, and that's saying something because they're all great, but this guy is on another level.
He's the next one in line for like, the Umaga that we're looking for the next Umaga that they've been looking for the last 20 years. That's him. They found him. It's not Solo. It's not Solo. It's not Tama. It's not any of those guys. It's fucking Jacob Fatu.
Jacob Fatu should have been there years ago.
He
Amen
was
to
in
that.
MLW. He was in ML. Like, I watched this guy during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Alexander Hammerstone and all these guys and Mance Warner. They carried MLW through the pandemic.
It put it on the map.
Really did.
Yeah, he is just such a talent.
Yeah,
I
but
love.
picture how much more even amazing the original bloodline with Roman and everything if they had Jacob at that point too.
Listen, we don't know
I
that
think-
Jacob doesn't jump to the Roman bloodline when he returns.
Oh, yeah, I think
Absolutely.
Jacob
What I'm saying
gives
is
him
that
credibility.
Yeah, but they said he should have been in WWE all along. Could that bloodline, like with Paul Heyman, Sami Zayn, and all that could
Which
have been.
I'm also hearing SummerSlam is going to be the return of Roman. Everything I'm hearing is that SummerSlam will be the return.
Yeah, that
I
seems.
think might even be before it.
I mean, how great would it be that Roman is the reason why Solo doesn't beat Cody?
Right?
Because last time we saw Roman, it was versus Cody, who took his title. Now he's helping him. You know what I mean? But that will also show you that this is bigger than the title.
But I think it's
This
not
is
going to be
for
helping.
this is for tribal chief status and head of the table.
I don't think it's going to be helping Cody necessarily. I think it's going to be,
It doesn't hurt him.
Right, it doesn't hurt him. But if this is the ending that we're thinking is going to happen, it's going to be Roman interfering to stop the bloodline, but it's going to be Orton at some point hitting Cody with an RKO. So maybe Cody doesn't even see Roman. Maybe Cody gets laid out with an RKO and doesn't even realize that Roman came in and did all this shit. So he's not really helping Cody. He's out in the ring because he got RKO'd.
Dave Abbey makes a good point. It could also be that it's Jimmy, and then we don't see Roman until later that week.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
But everything I'm hearing, too, is that Jimmy's coming back with a new gimmick. I don't know what that means, though. I don't know.
Yeah, how do you come back with a new gimmick? I mean,
Well, you almost feel bad for him because Jay has done, has managed to do something with his.
Oh, I don't feel bad for Jimmy. He got hurt. It is what it is. I mean, if he didn't get hurt, he probably would have had as much success. Well, maybe not as much, because it was easier for Jay as a face. And he was able to create this whole main event with the entrance now and the music and everything else. Jimmy has a fucking keyboard stroke entrance, like opera shit, and it's just not the same. You know what I mean?
Right.
Jimmy's all like,
He needs a thing,
and
that's not getting the crowd pumped up. You know what I'm saying?
It's like
Yeah.
it's just the bad guy version of Day One ish with no lyrics.
Right.
Like it's just not.
Because you look at Jay's and it's like a freaking rock concert going on.
And maybe that's why it's the same song.
Big difference.
I can just
Did
see
you-
McAfee.
Did you guys see the footage somebody posted on SmackDown? Jay was in the ring, right, with Gable, and the lights started going out. So the or Nikki Cross is coming out, and there's a video where you see Jay looking in the camera and go, yeet, and then he takes off and runs away because he doesn't want to get caught up in the shit. It was fucking hilarious. Right, exactly.
The only smart one. The only smart one.
Yep.
Well, we'll get into that because that was interesting on Raw. But those were really the biggest takeaways on SmackDown for me. It was really Jacob Fatu. I mean, that really, to me, was the best part of SmackDown.
He legitimizes this bloodline.
Yes, 100%.
Because the other guys, I mean, Solo just has a bad win-loss record. It's not that he doesn't have a good look or isn't a pretty good wrestler, or
I
hasn't-
like what
hasn't-
Solo is doing, though.
Right? Yeah, no,
He's improved a lot. And
He's improved a lot, and he's lost some weight too. But I like how he throws up the one now. I like the promos in the back around the table with all them standing behind him.
right.
They're doing it well. I'm enjoying it. But other than that, those were the biggest takeaways for SmackDown. But I do want to dive into Raw because quite a bit happened on Raw. We got the official return of Rhea Ripley, and that carried out throughout the evening,
Whole show, yeah.
which was awesome. I also want to point out, and I've probably said this recently, but I'm going to say it again, Liv Morgan's promo work has gotten so much better,
She's improved.
especially as a crazy psycho bitch heel.
This is-
Like, it fits her perfectly, you know what I
this is
mean?
the best work she's ever
I
done.
agree.
Ever. I know you agree. But that promo she cut sitting on the steps backstage with Rhea in the ring, Dom standing there like a lost puppy, didn't know what, like, everything about it was great. And again, I like how that continued throughout the entire evening.
Dom is just so good. He's
great.
so good at this. He's so good
Yeah.
at this.
But I was really hoping that they were going to announce that Dominic's on the line in this match and they're going to put his ass in a
know.
cage. Which we still have time. We still have time.
That could be the complete thing.
Yeah, let's hope, man. I'm hoping they throw that in.
I got to
Steve
see
Dom.
Dominic in a cage, hanging above the ring. It'll just be amazing.
Yeah, but the whole backstage between Dominic and Damian Priest when Jey Uso walked in too was fucking hilarious.
Oh, that
Is she
was
single?
great
Is she
too.
not single? That was.
I want to
brilliant.
holla. I want to holla. Even when he was in the ring later, he made eye contact with her and he was like,
Did he
call
do the
me.
whole thing?
Call me.
Yeah.
Call me.
So, but
It's when you
I
know
love what they're
someone's
doing
old
with
when
that.
they do call me like this.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
if there's still a handset on the phone, right?
I love what they're doing with Drew McIntyre and the whole suspension, and then I'm going to give you this match that everyone wants to see, but you have to apologize to the refs, and of course he's not going to apologize, so he's still suspended. I love that whole thing. Obviously, we're getting this match at SummerSlam, but I like the way they're kind of playing around with it. It's also giving Punk more time where they don't touch. So,
Right.
Could they do like a backstage brawl? Do they do those anymore? Since it would like maybe not sanctioned at SummerSlam, where they just show up and start beating the shit out of each other in the back.
They don't do that very often. I don't think this would be one of those that they would do. Quite honestly, there has to be a stipulation. Like, I think this match needs to be in a cage or
I think the second-
last man standing or, Extreme Rules. Like, we need something because this has been building
Right.
for so long. Like, this needs to be a bloodbath.
If you think about it, building since Survivor Series last year.
Yeah, that's true. So it's going to be, so I love what they're doing there. We're also going to get, Punk is going to be back this week or coming week, so we'll see where that goes. Chad Gable.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot out of Chad Gable this week because we got the formation finally of Gable with
Creed brothers.
the Creed brothers. Thank you. That finally happened. And we got Gable to call out Bo Dallas. And I love how Gable's making it think like he solved the puzzle that everybody's known forever. But he's going to take all the credit. And he's going to let us know that he cracked the case and that it's Bo. I like how Bo came out as Bo and without any music, anything.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot for a segment or anything to like get me. And when Bo Dallas came out and started doing the yeah, that got me.
Yeah.
Because that right there was a tribute to Luke Harper. And there's a lot of people that didn't even get it. Like, the true fans got it.
Right. Yeah, you had
And
to-
he did it in...
Absolutely.
I saw that immediately.
I knew everyone on this panel would have seen it, but he did it at the beginning. He did it in the ring. I like how the Six stayed back and let him get an ass whooping. And I loved how he just laughed the entire time because he's got that laugh where if you close your eyes, you're picturing Bray.
Yeah, and the way he
And the
says,
smile.
and the way he says, "There you are," like that's so Bray.
Yes.
It was so much of Bray, and it was just so great. And then to have the Wyatt Six come out, and what's great is they didn't even touch anybody because, of course, the heel thing they ran, but they did the pose, and Bo did the Bray pose and everything, and continued the laughing and all. I love what they're doing. I also love these VHS tapes. And the one this week with Eric Rowan.
Ooh,
You know,
that's how it feels, man.
you know, we always talk about when it comes to promos, the best promos have realism behind them. You know, because it draws out true emotion from the person cutting the promo. There was not one thing in that promo that Rowan didn't say that wasn't 1,000% true to real life.
Yep.
You know, the fact that he lost his best friend, and then when he finally was able to recover from it, he lost his other best friend. And it was just blow after blow, and that he just became catatonic, and that he didn't know how to feel, and this and that. And I just, everything about it was great. I can't wait to see the ones with Nikki Cross and the other ones. But it's a great way to introduce each character in. I'm going to let you guys give your reactions to it, but the last thing I'm going to say on this too, Alexa Bliss has been doing a lot of teasing lately. So...
Would be nice if she came back.
Just saying.
Dave has addressed something and so OMG, yeah, I'll get to her first. OMG, that broke my heart. Yeah, the video of Rowan, obviously very real. And then now Dave going, are they going to be faces? Now here's the thing. They came in and murdered everybody. So you assumed that they're going to be heels. And now
not
they're
necessarily
feuding.
because they took out faces and heels.
There was blood everywhere.
They were very diplomatic about it. They took out as many faces as they did heels. So you don't really know. There was no way you're going to bring them in as heels when everybody knows what the basis of it is, which is Bray. But
Exactly.
So
then I started thinking, once they debut and they start going, okay, you can definitely have them be heel because they are heel characters, right?
Yeah, they are.
But at the same time, if your first big feud is going to be against Gable and the Creed brothers, who are obviously heel,
right,
those are your faces.
Yeah, so they're definitely, which is also, I don't want to say confusing because it seems everybody understands it, but it's just weird. It's weird that they came in with this vibe of a heel group taking over and kind of an overarching like story of, it almost seemed like they were taking over Raw, and now they've scaled it back down to a very small story where they're the baby faces feuding with the heel Chad Gable and the Creed brothers. We'll see where this,
When they did their debut, though, because if you notice, we were guessing who every single person was that they knocked out and took out backstage. They purposely honed in on Chad Gable's. They murdered Chad Gable.
Right, yes.
That was their clear target.
Yeah,
Why?
he was one of the guys. Yeah, all the people that they picked out seem to be targeted for a reason.
Right, but what I'm saying is, because at least maybe for me, maybe you guys saw more than I did because, you know, my eyes fucking suck. But, like, in the dark, looking at everybody, like, okay, who was that? Wait, did he take out Braun Strowman? You had to really look and pause to see who everybody was taking out that night. They zoned in specifically on Chad Gable before they showed Uncle Howdy.
Well, because even in the promo between Bo and... This sounds weird, but Bo and Howdy, because it was the same person. But in that segment, he talked about he didn't like how Gable was treating his family. So that was a clear sign that that was going to be the first person that they go after. And every time Nikki Cross has been showing up, it's right after a Gable match, you know, to then hand the box of the VHS tape to McAfee or Cole. I also like how they keep attacking McAfee during his show and leaving him the fucking VHS tape.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now his panel's getting scared when when that happens, which is hilarious.
McAfee is still just fucking awesome.
They're smart for doing that too, because that's good crossover appeal.
Absolutely.
Right, and I mean the WWE was already working with ESPN, but UFC has been working with ESPN for years, and so the merger really did kind of open more doors for them to do stuff like that. It seems, I think, is it NXT or WWE is also doing, so UFC is doing a fight in the Vegas Sphere, and then there's a WWE or NXT event also happening in the Vegas Sphere coming up soon. So there's like, they're able to use maybe the same production crew and then just change out the octagon for the ring, and like that's, you know, that's internal synergy there between the two brands. This thing about the Wyatt Six, can I just, I don't want to say play devil's advocate here, but a lot of the talk that a lot of the things we're saying, it reminds me of Brody. It reminds me of Bray. None of it is, look at how good these new guys are. And even the VHS tapes, we give a shit about Bo and we give a shit about Rowan. What's the other guy? What's Joe Gacy going to say? Oh, one time I brought Bray Wyatt a cup of coffee backstage and it really fucking touched me. He's never met the fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like what?
Well, but that's the thing. I think before you can really dial in and say anything about how we're going to react to the other two and how they correlate with the Wyatts, we have to wait and see what their VHS tape is going to look like. So we have to just kind of wait and see. I mean, you're not wrong. There has to be some sort of tie that makes sense as to why these two were picked to be a part of this new Wyatt Six. Right. So hopefully the story writing is good enough. You know,
my concern is that it's a tribute act, and it's almost like going to see four guys in Kiss makeup that aren't Gene Simmons and Peter Criss, etc. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's not that. It doesn't, but that's the potential is after this first feud with Gable, you go, oh man, that was fun and all, but I miss Bray Wyatt. Like, this just doesn't hit the same. So we just have to, you know, I'm not shitting on it right now.
I agree with you. I mean, we're always going to miss Bray Wyatt, but I feel like, for me anyway, I feel like I'm getting him without him being around. You know what I mean? So maybe that's why I'm so gassed about it.
That's why it's important. That's why it's so important for us that as fans, that we want Alexa involved in this.
She has to be a part of it.
Because she has that connection.
And I think that they should bring Braun Strowman back in.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, and it seemed like they're purposely keeping him away from it, but that's also like, it seems silly to, how do we put it, ignore your past. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's in the plans, but I think the way I would do it, if you're going to bring Braun in eventually, there's only one person that can initiate it, and it's not Bo Dallas, and it's not Rowan. It's Alexa Bliss.
Yep.
Okay.
Listen, it ties back to Team Little Big.
Right.
Yeah.
bring
You know what I
her,
mean?
bring him in.
In fact, have her present him with the black sheep mask.
Right.
Yeah. Because
Yes.
that's how.
Or a newer version of.
Right, and that's
right.
because that's what Bo did to, or Howdy, whichever one did for Rowan in the video.
Right.
He gave him the white sheep mask.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
this is cool and all, but I mean, goddamn, I miss Brody and Bray, and I just don't know how this is gonna like. I don't like it's cool and all, and
We
but
got to
it's
give it
like,
a chance.
Sometimes you see that I'm just like,
we all miss Brody and Bray. I mean, there's not, especially this panel, there's not a single
Right.
person on here that has been a loyal WWE watcher that doesn't miss them. But this, I think, we've never seen a deceased wrestler get paid homage like this yet. So
Right.
we
It is
have
a new
to really
thing.
see where the closest thing we've seen is like, Brody Lee with letting -1 exactly. But that's the closest thing we saw was what Brody was attributed to.
And
Right.
I feel like also they're doing it the right way and not exploiting like they kind of did with Eddie.
yeah, the way they handled Eddie was not great, and this is fine. It's all fine. I'm just, in my head, I'm just like, is this gonna scratch that collective itch that everybody wants for the Wyatt reunion with,
It's better than nothing.
yeah.
I mean, that's how I look at it. It's
Right.
better than nothing. I do think they need to change the music, though. There needs to be some music in there. Not just if you notice when the Wyatt Six came out, it was just that beginning part of it. There's no music.
It's just a bong.
Yeah.
Bong. Yeah. I like that.
So that needs to change because that gets a little annoying. But so I don't know, but we'll have to see where it goes. But so far, I'm a big fan. I like what they're doing with it.
So is it going to be a 6-man at SummerSlam? The Creed brothers and Chad against whatever the 3 characters are.
I mean, my guess it would be those 3, and then Howdy would be ringside.
Okay.
Managing kind of thing.
Oh, okay. How
I feel like almost
right,
like
no
Howdy's going to
engagement,
be like you got to get through everyone else before you get to Howdy kind of thing.
Mhm.
I also like how it kind of, it humanizes them. And then there's this different side. There's the Bo Dallas, but when he's Uncle Howdy, he's an unstoppable monster.
Yeah, and it is different. There is it seems like there's multiple sides to him.
But they started, even when the Fiend had come back, at Bray's last stuff before he was before
Right.
he was
like
doing
Rumble.
a lot of that kind of stuff and realism and thanking the fans and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of this was in the works because even that last match he had, that was the Mountain Dew Blackout match with
It just
LA
shows
Knight.
the creativity, the creative mind of that Bray was.
Yeah, because that was when he did that match at the Rumble.
Really sucks that was his last match.
It does, because that he should have gone out on a banger. But it was just that. But if you notice, I mean, all the pieces were there; they just weren't exactly the same. Bo was there as Howdy, and then you had the other ones throughout that entire return. You had the human versions of Huskus the pig and all that other, and Mercy the buzzard. You had them in the background, haunting people, and then they came out as part of Bray's.
We might still get that too. I mean, it's possible that those types of things start happening. Maybe they start going back to the fun house. I mean, Bo can do it. Maybe they change it a little bit, but they can. We'll have to see. It's very fresh, so there's a lot of different things they can do, and I'm pretty confident the way the writing's been lately that they're going to be able to pull something off.
I hope so.
I'm very optimistic.
Sorry
But,
about my disappearance.
That's all right. Hey, Steve, while we have a little bit of a pause here, go to your Facebook page and check to see. Oh, you don't have the video streaming on your Facebook. It's just
It's streaming on the War Report though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's. I'm having the same problem you were having, and now I'm having the same problem on Twitter.
So how about this? Earlier, when there was nobody watching, I went to my Facebook and it said that my video setting was set to only me to view it. I was like, well, that's weird. Why would you set to only me? So then I set it to public, and then I shared it to everywhere that we don't have, like the War Report group.
That's
I put
so
it in
weird.
there. It is. I shared it to my other page that doesn't stream now. It's very strange. So I was just making sure that if you had yours up, see if it was on private or not. But
The stream this to your audience on my page is working though because it's up on my Facebook right now.
yeah, I had to fix it, and that's why when it's it's shared on the Tag Me Day page, no problem. But it it wasn't in the War Report group, so I shared it from my page to the group. The other thing, like you said, was running through the whole show was the love triangle, I guess we can call it. Why don't we? We got to know, Mitchell. What do you think of this recent development in the love triangle?
Well, I'm growing out my hair. I'm gonna grow a little dirty Dom mustache, and maybe I could take Liv or Rhea.
Are you gonna grow a mullet?
Yes,
I'm on the way.
Oh, that'd be amazing,
bro. If you have a mullet by the time of your wedding, for forever, just so you know, whatever haircut you have in those photos, your family will see forever, including your children. So if you grow a mullet, just remember it's going to be there.
I can grow the mustache nice though.
You can grow a better mustache than him. You'd actually have to trim that down.
That thing looks like fucking Doc Holliday.
That's so funny. So
I'm
what do you
excited for
think, Mitch?
SummerSlam.
Oh,
Like,
it's gonna be great.
The match is gonna be crazy. Liv's gonna lose.
Yeah.
Well,
Rhea's gonna
So
maybe not.
unless Dom.
that's what I'm saying. What if Dom decides to go with Liv and cost Rhea the match?
Because Rhea is a little mean to him.
That's a downgrade.
And
She
no
is a
chicken
little mean.
tendies.
That is a downgrade to go from Rhea Ripley to Liv Morgan.
PlayStation.
I don't
chicken
know.
Tendies.
I'd be happy with either or in that scenario.
I guess depends on what you're looking for.
I'm sorry, Rhea looks fucking.
Rhea looked awesome last
Oh
night.
my god!
She looked amazing last night.
And she got a lot of new tattoo while she was gone for the.
But
3
Liv was also wearing a shirt that made it look like a wet top shirt, and she was looking fucking sexy. So
Did you see the new tattoo in her cleavage there, Vince?
On Rhea Ripley, I mean, I
Yeah,
try
Rhea
not
Ripley?
to stare.
Yeah,
I
she's
try not. I try
tattooed
to.
from here, like pretty much down to her navel. That was not there.
Right. Yeah. That's great. I actually dig that a lot. I mean,
I was like, that is
aesthetically, but also like I would try and do. I would need to connect a lot of tattoos, but I could do that.
I was like, oh my god, that was fucking sick.
But then she, so basically, through the whole show, there's backstage stuff with the Judgment Day and Carlito.
That's not
was
cool.
There, right? So he's just there throwing in little comments like that.
Dude, he doesn't have to wrestle. If he just does that every week, I'm fucking happy, man.
No, he doesn't. That's the beauty of it. But yeah, I think the group thing here, they really wanted to tell a story through the whole show of what's going on with Judgment Day and with Liv.
They
and
were
with,
in a lot of segments on the show.
Yeah, they were featured in a lot of matches and segment because the tag team. The tag team didn't go out there and wrestle, but they were in. They had segments.
They were in
Damian,
the clubhouse.
They were in the club. Damian wrestled and cut a promo and had backstage stuff. Dom wrestled and had a bunch of backstage stuff. I mean, it was.
I absolutely loved the promo between Gunther and Damian Priest.
Yes.
And then Damian versus Braun was actually a great match. Damian looked great.
When did Gunther start voting for Trump? Did you hear the shit that he said? He goes, "Being homeless is a choice." I was like, "Wait a minute, what are we doing?" Gunther, all of a sudden, and then Priest goes, "Not like this guy who's in it for the money," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I mean, he's also like, you can't just be like, this guy's in it for the money. He's a bad dude. You gotta be like." I don't want it to be about I was homeless and you've got money and you're just in this for the money. I want it to be like Damian Priest is a bad motherfucker and so isn't Gunther, and then it's like two big bulls button heads. I don't want. That's the only thing I don't want them to do is push that angle more of like Gunther commenting on him being homeless and like not having money. Like Gunther seems like a guy who would live in an apartment with no art on the walls and just like one chair and like a teapot, and he's like, "This is enough for me to live." You know what I mean? Like it doesn't seem like he spends money
Got a
like
squat
that.
rack in there.
But what does his wife
he's
say
got a
about
squat-
that now?
But what they're doing with Gunther, what they've been doing, it's like this is what WWE had envisioned guys like,
To be their world champion.
Yeah,
well, yeah, but
like the foreign heel world
like
champ.
this is what the foreign heel should have been like.
This
not
is the
like-
guy Rusev could have been if they just
Right.
gave him a couple
Yes.
more wins.
I got to tell you, I really think Gunther is winning the title. And, we said it, right? As soon as he dropped the IC title, I said, here we go. They're going to move him right up to the main event picture, and here we are. I think he does beat Damian.
He should.
And that's not a bad loss for Damian either.
No.
It's not gonna kill his career at all.
But
No.
It's just gonna go down as one hell of a match between the two of them.
And on the flip side, I think Gunther shouldn't lose his second big match in a row. He lost at WrestleMania, and I know he won the King of the Ring thing, but like to lose his next big pay-per-view match like that would be like,
four doesn't look good, right?
yeah, it doesn't. It's having that on your record doesn't look great, and then you're kind of like building. Then they have to build Gunther back up for him. Not that he wouldn't stop being credible, but like in order for him to challenge for a title again, they'd have to
And
build him back
besides,
up.
I think we're with the whole Dom Rhea Liv thing, we're leading to the disintegration of Judgment Day, and then so they can kind of go their separate ways. Rhea's obviously a big baby face, and I think it looks like Damian's going towards that way, especially like him and Rollins talking and stuff like that, and this personal
they've-
shit.
Yeah. Is he? So, Dave, are you saying you thought that? Put that one up. I thought that until Priest and Rollins had that conversation. So, do you think that Priest is retaining it at SummerSlam based on that?
No,
And obviously he can comment.
or are you asking Dave that?
I'm asking Dave that
Okay.
from the question. No,
Yeah,
I got what
yeah,
you
yeah.
were saying. I'm not that out of it.
They can always wind up doing a triple threat. Do Priest, Rollins, and
They
Gunther.
could. Ooh, all right. So Dave said yes. Now, based on the conversation with Rollins, he believes that Priest retains. Which I guess if there's some screwy stuff, Gunther can't lose clean like he did to Sammy. If there's some kind of shenanigans, I guess it's okay. But I mean, from
But
my
I'm with you though. I think it's Gunther all the way. I don't see him losing, in any way.
Yeah, but Dave's not wrong because there was that backstage segment where Damian said, that man, that handshake deal we had, throw it out the window. You'll get your, another match.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't mean that they can't do a triple threat.
Right.
and that's always been maybe Seth pulls that the ultimate opportunist thing like he did that one time and turns the
Right.
match, maybe suddenly turns it into a triple threat because maybe he goads Priest into saying you can have that rematch anytime you want. He's in the middle of Gunther's match and Rollins comes out and goes, you said anytime, here we go.
But then I do see Damian versus Dom one day.
Well, I think
Yeah,
once
I mean, you're gonna
Judgment Day
have-
implodes,
Yeah.
they're all going to have their inner battles.
For sure.
What else happened on Raw? Braun Breaker.
Oh yeah, at the end of the
He's
show
a
there.
menace.
He's amazing.
I wanna see him
Possibly
versus
Finn
Fatu.
gets the match turned into a DQ. Oh, that's true.
Mm.
That's true. Finn be the reason why
Right.
the match
There's
ends.
there's a little dissension between Finn and Damian now too.
Especially
Right.
because Damian seems to want to do everything without the help of the Judgment Day. Finn's not going to listen, cost him the match maybe, or the DQ.
Right.
I honestly think that Priest should have said something a little bit about CM Punk too, saying like, I didn't need you to be involved in that. That makes me look bad when I'm trying to defend this title.
Here's the thing.
There would just be too much going on.
It would end up
keep things separate.
There would be too many moving parts. Plus, Punk, as we established a couple weeks ago when me and Steve had this discussion, Punk apparently does not care about the title right now. He only cares about Drew, and that would take his focus off of Drew. Although, again, if he just let Drew cash in his money in the bank, he could wrestle Drew and have the world title, and we wouldn't even be fucking talking about any of this shit. So I don't know. Who am I?
But again, like you said, his motivation is Drew.
Right. So to have Priest in there, which then you've got Seth is already circling around Priest and telling him, they're talking about the rematch, and then Seth was out there during the Drew thing, so they could bring Damian in, but then you're talking about like 5 guys, like involved in if 5 guys cook my hamburger, I'm fine with it. If there are 5 guys in a wrestling feud, it's gonna get fucking confusing.
I feel like, and especially with Rhea back in this whole stuff going on, they should just have Damian focus on Judgment Day stuff and defending his title and stuff like that.
And to speak to that, I think that's what's going to end up being the downfall of Damian's reign. Is like you said, Finn will try and interfere, or Potato Head over there, the other guy, would interfere.
Lord Farquaad,
the walking candy
yes.
apple.
But what would happen is those guys with the intention of helping him out mess up, cost him the title. And then you start the downward spiral of the Judgment Day. You get Finn versus Damian, and then leading up to it, you get JD versus Damian, and you get Dom versus Damian. And, we see what happens from there, because Dom is still a question mark for me, because me and Steve have been having a lot of discussion about whether or not Dom is going to stick with Rhea or he's going to go with Liv. And we don't know. And that change, the alignment changes how I think Judgment Day is going to break up, or who's going to go where.
Right.
I mean, Damian Priest, the obvious choice is going to be he's the big baby face at the end of this, and Finn has to go heel.
They've already been slowly turning Damian face.
Yeah.
Oh,
especially after last night.
I also like how and Dom is so good in this role where there's so much stress going on in his life, being pulled in all different directions between Judgment Day stuff and Rhea and Liv and all that. He's doing such a great job.
And that's another thing where he's so preoccupied with that, he could be trying to help Damian and just not have the bandwidth or the time to do it. And that could be another reason why it causes tension. Damian's like, why weren't you there for me? And he was like, I was dealing with these women.
Wouldn't you say Raw was very reminiscent of Eddie and China? Like there were definitely, with with what he
did flower, yeah,
backstage and shit, and the flower.
Mm-hmm. One way or another, this is from Dave A. One way or another, there's going to be a chair in the ring at the end of the women's championship match.
I guess.
Oh, because that's been like
Dom. Yeah.
Does Dom throw it in? Who does he throw it to?
He throws really 2 chairs and runs away.
Yo, that would be the funniest thing.
That would be freaking hilarious.
And once again, Dom was on top of Liv, and Liv was on top of him.
Yeah.
Their crotches seem to levitate to each other.
But then at the end of the show, not the end of the show, but one of the segments was Rhea saying, "I'm not yours, you're mine," or something like that. You know what I mean? So she's still
cool.
Asserting dominance. Oh gosh. If you're listening audio only, Kat has changed her profile picture to ask, "Do you believe in Joe Hendry?" With a big ass picture of Joe Hendry's face.
Hey, at least I didn't put anything political up. I mean, we could all agree on Joe Hendry.
Yes, and you didn't put up Zoe Stark, which is great.
Wait, here, do that again.
Didn't she win this week?
Hold on 1 second. Do it again.
Yeah, I think she actually won.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
That's Gabby now.
Amen. He appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause you love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland.
It just doesn't get old.
Mexico, they say, I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Aren't you glad that I put that one of the weeks that you were on the cruise?
Oh, I know.
I needed to put that on there.
Oh, I know. I was very excited when I saw it. Actually, when I was listening back and I heard it play, and I was like, "Oh, great! It's in the lineup."
Yes, exactly. I figured it would make it. I was like, I have a feeling this song is going to be played a lot. Like we're going to need it because we're going to be talking about Joe Hendry. So
I'll fucking play it every week.
we have so far.
That's true.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring
can't
up
avoid that
something-
song in this house. So
I wanted to bring up something from SmackDown that I just thought of. The whole stuff with Nia and Tiffany going on. She was about to possibly cash in on Bailey.
It's ultimately going to turn Tiffy face because the crowd's behind her anyway.
I think what's going to happen is Nia's going to beat Bailey, and then Tiffany's going to cash in right away.
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, it could be like that, or yeah, that might be it. I mean, do you give Nia the title for 90 seconds? I guess you can. Who gives a shit? But
does she need it more than 90 seconds?
No.
No, but what's good about it is then you have Nia, a whole different feud between Nia and Tiff. You know, it's going to be Tiffy time.
That or Tiffy's strategic with it, lets Nia hold it, and then gets into a big match, and then takes her over because she's helping her. Like, takes her out.
Or if Bailey wins, Nia is so mad she hits her with the Vader bomb and attacks her after the match and beats her up, and then But if Tiffy cashes in that way, she's a heel. So I think you're right. I think Nia Jax is 90-second champion of the world.
So over now that
she doesn't have to
organically
turn
becoming
face.
a baby face.
Yeah. But she doesn't have to turn face right away or whatever, too, because don't forget, last year when Io Sky cashed in, Damage Control was the heel group.
Yeah, but if she cashes in on Nia, if the theory is right and she winds up cashing in on Nia, then that's an instant babyface turn.
Yep.
And then it is indeed
because
Tiffy
when
time.
Bailey was talking about how, she said, "Oh, Tiffany's just going to be the first woman to cash in and fail." I think if they were going with the cash in and fail, then Chelsea would have been the perfect person.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Or Zoe. Yeah. Steve would have been so pissed if she won, but then if it was a failed cash in, Steve would be like, haha, that's better.
Because Steve don't want to win anything.
She should never have that briefcase.
Damn.
Ever.
What about a title?
Oh, God.
How about this one, Steve? I got it for you. Zoe in the bank.
Oh, my God. I'm not fired tonight. It's Vince's fault. My job security is intact. Vince said it, not me, and I didn't put him up to it.
You imagine the briefcase, and instead of money, it just says Zoe.
Get a custom one for Steve.
Oh, my God. What if we did?
Vince, you have done the impossible. He can't even talk.
Shut your damn mouth.
He's just trying to...
You just made the list.
You had to have.
Hey, listen, you haven't been kicked out live during a show yet. I still am the only one that holds that title, so you're safe.
That's true. They should call that group the new Bang Bang Scissor Gang. That is the comment of the night, ladies and gentlemen.
Dave,
Oh,
you
that's
win.
funny.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt, you win.
Ladies and gentlemen, the lesbians.
That was a great meme.
That's so funny. Well, we've reached the top of the hour. Anybody have anything else they want to add before we take it home?
I just want to shit on Dave Meltzer for a second.
There's always time for Meltzer shitting.
Welcome to hour 2 of the show.
He's just an amazing hypocrite because said something about the NXT match between Sol Ruka and I think Lola Vice was a bunch of flips and a bunch of this and that and gymnastics. I'm like, and you're the same person that gave 5 stars to Osprey and Ricochet. What the fuck are you talking about? You're so far up the asses of the Young Bucks. You can taste what they had for breakfast, you know? Like, and here's the other thing. This is why Meltzer is also a clown. You know how he has these, you know, the star rating shit? He's never once given Kurt Angle, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, a 5-star match. Boom, lost credibility right there. And he hasn't been relevant in 25 years, so there's that.
Tell us how you really feel.
At one point, I was waiting for like one of those old game show countdown clocks to just see, like counting him down to let him know how much time he has left.
Well, on that note,
The Price is Right, the cliffhanger.
Man's coming to sweep me away.
and on that note, we've reached the top of the hour.
There we go. We're gonna have to. What we should do is we should set. We should give Eric a topic, and then we'll secretly have an over under for time, and then we'll all bet on how long it takes for him to rant on the particular topic. So like we'll put it at like 5.5 minutes. We won't tell him, but it'll be like 5.5 minutes. Something
It
like
sells
that.
itself.
Do we just hammer the over every single time though? You probably hit it
1,000%.
Easy money. All right, guys. Yeah, that'll do
Actually,
it.
I have one more thing to add.
Cool. Do it.
Sorry, it's totally off wrestling topic, but you guys will agree to do this or whatever. Rosie's turning 12 tomorrow, so happy birthday, Rosie.
Hey, happy birthday,
Happy
Rosie.
birthday,
Oh,
Rosie.
Fantastic.
Oh my God.
Yep, she's going to be 12. And yeah, so I officially will have a soon-to-be 16-year-old, a 12-year-old, a soon-to-be 10-year-old, and an 8-year-old.
Wow, they grow up fast.
That's one way to silence a whole room full of guys is just mention that many kids. They got nothing.
Yeah, can't you like trade one of them for a shortstop or something? Like, what can we do with these things?
Dude, every day I figure out a way how I can leave them on a corner somewhere and hope that somebody picks them up.
Why
But it never
haven't
works.
they started a band yet?
Yeah, that's the Partridge Family. They're all redheads, right? It should be
No, only 2 of them are.
all right. Well, one of them is Danny Partridge. Okay,
Yeah, you want to make the middle one Danny Partridge. Thanks, Marsha.
exactly, with the haircut and everything. Yeah, but geez, yeah. Happy birthday, Rosie. 12. That blows my mind. Yeah. And then the other one's gonna be 16 soon. The other one's that's
16 in
just crazy.
September. Yep.
That is wild.
And I don't
Yeah.
give a shit what she says. Joe Hendry is the first song on the DJ list that I just emailed fucking yesterday.
Of course it is. I would expect no less. But all right, we'll pack it in for today. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I know. Here's the thing. Initially, there was some issue with the video. It was like private for like the first 10 or 12 minutes of the show. So if you need to go back, go ahead. At the end of this, at the end of the stream here, you can go ahead and rewind and listen to it if you happen to miss it. And if you want to check out our archives, they are on the Tag Me a Date Facebook page. And they are also on the Tag Me a Date YouTube and the Twitch. Most of our social media is at Tag Me a Date, no spaces. The archives on Facebook at Tag Me a Date, and so is it. And YouTube, Tag Me a Date. Go to type Tag Me a Date in the search bar. You will find our YouTube page. Hit subscribe and then hit the bell to get notified when we go live. The Twitch is different. It's twitch.tv/War Report, WARREPORT, all one word. The other social medias, like I said, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff is at Tag Me a Date. You can go ahead and give those a follow. If you prefer an audio version instead of the video version of the podcast, you can just go to your favorite podcast app, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts. You type in the War Report, you type in Tag Me a Date, hit search. It should bring it up. There are 2 wrestling podcasts called The War Report, us and somebody else. But if you look at the graphic or the icon, you know what I mean? Like if you look at the description of the podcast, you'll know it's us. And also, and if you hit subscribe, it gets delivered to your device within an hour of the show going off the air because Ryan is nice enough to grab the audio. And if you want to tune in more, I'm not going to be talking wrestling, but tomorrow morning from 7:20 Eastern time until about 10 a.m., I'll be on Chaz and AJ in the morning. If you're in Connecticut, tune into 99.1 on your radios. It's 99.1 PLR, or you can go to WPLR.com if you are not in Connecticut and still listen to the show. And before we head out, thank you to both Davids, Dave Roska and Dave A. And thank you for Tara chiming in. Where is usually Ryan's in the comments, and he's not. So wherever you are, Ryan, I hope you're doing well. But thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week, as usual, Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. on Eastern Time for the War Report After Dark. Thanks so much. See you next time.